Hey everyone, last one here, and yes, I know, it's been a while, but before anyone asks, I haven't quit the game and I haven't quit the channel, alright? I just had a lot of stuff to deal with regarding my move next month, but I promise that in February everything should be getting back to normal. And with that out of the way, let's talk about this video. This one I'll be covering the Gibson system, how it works, what types exist, and how you gather them. So let's get down to it. The first item we're gonna talk about here is the Gibson Cast. That is the item that allows you to choose which gear piece you want to progress. These casts do not drop, they are crafted at a new station that you can find in the endgame areas. As you can see here, for each item type there is a specific cast, and each of those have a 22 hours independent cooldown. So every 22 hours you can come to the station and craft one of each that you need. And as soon as you open it, you will get the item with the gear score upgrade, and the pop-up telling you that your expertise increased. Now, if you check what you need to craft those casts, you will see that all of them require the same one item, a Gibson Orb. And that orb is also crafted at this same station. You will notice here there are 8 independent recipes that you can use to craft these orbs, and each of them also has a 22 hours independent cooldown. That means that once every 22 hours you can come here and craft up to 8 orbs, one for each recipe. And that leads us to the final missing piece, the Gibson Shards, or just Gibson. If you check each of those recipes, you will notice that each one requires a unique type and quantity of Gibson. That is because each one of those comes from a specific type of activity. So now let's talk about what you need to do to acquire each of them. Obsidian Gibson. That comes from killing some specific named mobs. You can go check New World DB to know which ones you can farm. Keep in mind that there is an internal cooldown of 10 to 13 minutes between each drop. So even if you can kill those mobs faster than that, it will take at least 10 to 13 minutes for them to drop again. Notice also that for this type, you will need to accumulate 3 Gibsons, since that is the quantity required by the recipe. Keep in mind that these required quantities, in the case of Obsidian 3, are also the maximum amount you can get every 18 hours. So in this example, after you got your 3 Obsidian Gibson, killing those named mobs will not give you more. You will only get more after the 18 hours cooldown. The same thing applies for every other type of Gibson, with 2 exceptions that we will talk next. The Citrine Gibson and the Sapphire Gibson. The Citrine you get by finishing arenas, and the Sapphire by finishing expeditions. The required quantities to craft the orbs for both recipes are only 1. The special thing about these two is that although you can only craft 1 orb from each of the recipes, the 18 hours drop limit for both Gibson types are 2. So you can drop an extra Citrine and Sapphire by doing 2 arenas or 2 expeditions in the same day. If this is no longer a thing, I will add a note in the video description, so go check there before you try to get more than 1. The next type is the Emerald Gibson. You'll get this one by reaching 1 mark of any trade skill aptitude level. If you don't know what that is, go check this New World DB guide to get more details on how that other system works. The required quantity and 18-hour limit of this Gibson is only 1. Now the Amethyst Gibson. That comes from closing level 60 plus minor or major corrupted breaches. The major ones have a guaranteed drop, while the minor ones have only a 50% chance. The orb recipe using this Gibson requires 7, as is the 18-hour limit. Next we have the Ruby Gibson. That comes from completing Outpost Rush. No matter if you win or lose, as long as you contributed enough to get a reward, you should get 1. The required quantity and 18-hour limit of this type of Gibson is 2. The 7th type is the Diamond Gibson. This one currently is associated with the Winter Convergence event, so my guess is that this will be a seasonal Gibson, where the method of acquisition will change depending on the currently running event. For this winter event, you will get 1 from each of the first 3 Christmas trees you interact in a day. The required quantity and 18-hour limit for this type is 3. Keep in mind that after the winter event is over, I will update a pinned comment with what happened with the Diamond Gibson. And finally the last type, the Topaz Gibson. This one comes from killing creatures that are level 55 or higher, while you have the buff from the Topaz Gibson Attunement Potion. That is a special potion that you can craft on your tier 5 camp every 22 hours, and the buff from it lasts for 1 hour. Like the Obsidian, this Gibson has an internal cooldown, but for this one is only 1 to 3 minutes between each drop. The 18-hour limit and the amount required by this one is 10. Now about how I gather them, it all depends on how much time I have. If I have less than 30 minutes to play, I make sure to at least log in to get the Diamond Gibson by just teleporting to my houses and interacting with the trees. If I have about 1 hour to play, I usually add both the Obsidian and the Topaz Gibson by farming Ivan in North Airborne Scale and in between kills farming the ghosts outside the church. If I have about 2 hours to play, I either do some gathering or refining for the Emerald Gibson or I play 2 outpost rushes. And finally, if I have no time constraints, I do the portals, expeditions and arenas, since those require me to find a group. And that's it. This system is a little bit annoying with a lot of time gating, but in general I think it's a good addition to the game, since it lowers the RNG involved in the expertise system. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed this guide. If you did, please consider hitting that like button, and I see you all on the next one. Take it easy.